Well, today is the March for Life, of course, and that means there will be thousands upon thousands of people out on Parliament Hill that will be rising up with one voice to say the voiceless must be heard, that there need to be some kind of protections for the unborn in Canada. There will be varying degrees of viewpoints on what that should entail, how it should look, but the fact is there are no protections for the unborn in Canada. An organization, a new pro-life organization called Right Now, has done a poll, and it may have results that will surprise some of you, not those of you that have been following what the polling has said about abortion in this country for a long time. Alyssa Golob is the co-founder of Right Now. She joins me via Skype. And Alyssa, let's go over some of the top line numbers here. Asked whether there should be restrictions on abortion, and do you agree somewhat or strongly, 54% said they agree there should be some form of restrictions. Was that surprising to you?
Well, it's not surprising that the majority of Canadians want restrictions on abortion, but the breakdown is a little bit more surprising, and it defies a lot of stereotypes that are commonly held in Canadian society. For example, it showed that 53% of millennials, those between the ages of 18 and 35, want restrictions on abortion. So,
Whoa, hold on. Young people want abortion all the time, don't they? I mean, you go out for a coffee and an abortion, don't you?
exactly, that's what people think. But the younger generation are more pro-life. That they don't all lean left and they don't want unfettered abortion. And we see that with the March for Life, and we also see that in the polls.
Okay, but you said they don't all lean left, and there is this perception that anyone opposed to abortion is a fire-breathing, retrograde, knuckle-dragging conservative. Let's look at some of the numbers here when it comes to party affiliation and where people stand. NDP voters, 53% say that they either strongly or somewhat agree with the idea, and it's almost evenly split among NDPers, that there should be some kind of restrictions on abortion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 53% of NDP and 49% of those who voted Liberal in the 2015 election do want restrictions on abortion, which I think is even more poignant given that Trudeau made news yesterday because he quietly removed a restriction that prevented foreign aid money from being used to fund abortion overseas, something that the Harper government previously restricted in the past couple of years, and that Bob Rae, his reproductive motion, was defeated in 2010 for that same reason.
With the support of some Liberal MPs, including
yes,
one that's a parliamentary secretary right now.
absolutely. So Trudeau isn't even on the same page as his own party when it comes to this issue, and in fact is being more extreme than almost half of what the party wants. If they want some type of restriction on abortion in Canada, chances are they don't want to be funding other people's abortions in our country or elsewhere.
What I find interesting is as you go through the age brackets, 18 to 34, 35 to 54, 55 plus, there's not a big difference. It's a little over 50%, between 50 and 55% in each of those three age brackets. This is showing that, again, it goes against the perception that this is just a group of old people that are rabid about it. No, whether you are at the younger end, the middle end, or the higher end, Canadians have concerns about the lack of an abortion law in this country.
And they should. I mean, it crosses all generations and it crosses all party lines. And it makes sense because we're one of the only countries in the world with no law on abortion. It is legal to have a late-term abortion in Canada. It doesn't happen often, but I'm from downtown Toronto. There are 2 abortion clinics within a 10-kilometer radius that do late-term abortion. So it does happen. And it makes sense that, with the technology that we have, the preborn child is human. You can hear the heartbeat, you can see the development, and it obviously would make people uncomfortable, even those who may not agree with us on all issues. But on this particular issue, late-term abortion is not okay, and there should be restrictions.
Now, at the March for Life, which I know you'll be at, you'll be walking the streets of Ottawa, you'll be out there on Parliament Hill speaking, mingling. You will see people of all age groups, all demographic groups, all ethnic groups, and quite frankly, this is not just a Roman Catholic thing anymore. There'll be all kinds of faiths there and people of no faith. The Pro-Life Humanist Association has been making appearances the last several years. So why is there a disconnect between how it's perceived and what the reality is in terms of public viewpoints?
Mm-hmm. I think it's really funny too when you see some of the people in other mainstream media, they chase down, the elderly lady with holding the crucifix instead of the thousands and thousands of other people surrounding them who are young. There's the LGBT for life are there with their signs last year. There's humanists for life, atheists for life. So the pro-life movement, again, isn't just confined to one religion or one age group, but it does cross all those demographics.
All right. So, but why the difference? Why do you think the media, is it just that the media has this idea in their head and that the media, at least when we're talking about the Parliamentary Press Gallery, which sometimes has not covered this at all, or I remember one year a national newspaper of record that I won't name showed up at 10 in the morning and then filed a report saying that only a few hundred people showed up. Yeah, it starts at noon. I think they were out there at 10.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, I think
is it because the media is almost uniformly pro-choice, pro-abortion on Parliament Hill?
Well, I think it fits their narrative, the narrative that they've been saying for years. And the fact is that the pro-life movement is changing, that it is becoming younger, that it does cross all religious or non-religious barriers. So they have to start changing the narrative because that's what public opinion reflects.
All right, Alyssa, where can people find out more about Right Now? And give us a pitch for what you're about and then tell us where you can find out more.
Well, I was actually a main organizer of the March for Life for years, and I left that organization to start a pro-life organization that's solely dedicated to nominating and electing pro-life candidates because we can put through as much pro-life legislation as we want. It will continue to get defeated if we don't have a majority in the House, which is what our organization is focused on doing. So if you want to learn more, you can check out our website, ItStartsRightNow.ca.
ItStartsRightNow.ca. All right, Alyssa, thanks so much.
Thanks so much, Brian.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.